everyone, good afternoon, how are you? This is my weekly vlog, I guess. So, I'm going to talk today a little bit about cookbooks. A couple weeks ago I mentioned a book called The Flavor Bible and how that's helpful if you're doing a zero spend month. However, not everyone wants to go and buy a new book and pay, I don't know, I think I paid $15 or $20 for it. So today we're going to talk about how to use cookbooks when you're doing zero spend. So first off, our zero spend month is going pretty well. I am running out of more and more things. This cocoa, it's actually a sugar-free. I have a little bit left in there. Just a little bit. What I did was I had these chocolate pieces. You can make your own chocolate with coconut oil and cocoa, and I think I used xylitol for this, but it had been sitting in the fridge for months and months. So I pulled it out and I actually put it in some boiling water and stirred it up, and I had to add, the reason this chocolate did not get eaten when it should have is because the xylitol fell to the bottom of the chocolate, so they weren't very good, honestly, but they worked great for this because I just added some stevia. Yeah, and it makes some really good hot cocoa. So I'm glad I got to use all those things up. And there's been so many things that I've been able to use. So that's been exciting. One thing I did this week was I actually made, well, I had put together some powdered milk. I think I showed a clip. Maybe I didn't.
It's Sugar Saturday, and this is my breakfast. Since we're doing no spend, I ran out of milk. So I got out my powdered milk. I bought this stuff a while back. I was thinking that I'd use it for hot cocoa, but I didn't, so I thought, well, I'll mix up some of that. The directions said to mix it up the night before, so that's what I did. And honestly, it doesn't smell any different than regular milk. So I'm really excited about that. Unfortunately, it was kind of expensive. It's about $1 a quart, if you figure out the price. So I don't think I don't know. I'm torn whether or not I should get powdered milk again if I do a no spend. It is nice to have milk though. So that's what I've got for the milk, and then the cereal is actually pumpkin spice life cereal, and I bought it in December when it was $1 a box. They were trying to get rid of it all. I only got 2 boxes, and I should have got like 10 because I love this stuff, and you can't even really taste the pumpkin flavor. So that's my breakfast. I'm guessing, let's see, how much did I use of this? 33 cents for the milk, and probably another 20 cents, 25 cents for the cereal, and I'll probably eat more cereal. So, but less than $1 for this Sugar Saturday breakfast, and it was all out of the pantry.
So I made some powdered milk when we ran out of milk last week, and then that milk was starting to get kind of old. I think you're supposed to use it within 4 or 5 days, and it was on day 4 or something. So I made it into cheese, and we used that in a meal that same day. So that's another way to kind of keep using up those old, those odds and ends that are going to go to waste if you don't do something with them. And I might have a video. If I have a video, I'll link to the video of making cheese, and if I don't, I'll link to a blog post. Alright, so let's talk about cookbooks. I, like many other housewives, have a ton of cookbooks, and I actually just got rid of 3 or 4, I think. I pick them up at thrift stores, and people give them to me, and I got several out of somebody's junk pile this summer. I was riding my bike, and somebody had put like a little trailer thing out there with a bunch of junk, and there were a couple boxes of books. So I brought home a ton of cookbooks, and I actually really like some of them. So I'm going to give you an example of some of my cookbooks. This is really random. Miss Esther Levy's Jewish Cookery Book. And some of these are old, some of them are newer, most of them are not very new because I'm cheap. And anyways, there's that one. I've got, and I like to pick up cookbooks by like ethnicity or by region. Like this one is Mastering the Art of French Cooking. And this is one of the few cookbooks that I actually did buy from Amazon because I really wanted to see it. We've got this one, Popular Chinese Cookery. I think I got that at a thrift store. The Bicentennial Cookbook. That was out of that junk pile that I picked. This one is called Good Meals and How to Prepare Them. I'm not sure where that one came from. That might have been a White Elephant gift or something. Then that one that I showed you. Here's another one. This one came out of the junk pile. It looks like it has smoke damage or fire damage. I don't know. But this is actually one of my favorites, and I'll get into that later. So I like to collect them by ethnicity, and the reason for that is the way that I have my meals organized during the week is I pick a different culture for each day. So like Monday is, and that's generally, loosely speaking, just to help me remember what I'm supposed to cook, basically. So like Monday is Asian cooking, Tuesday is like Latin American, Wednesday is Italian or pasta, which is Italian. Thursday is French, Friday is American, and then Saturday and Sunday I don't really have anything for. So the first thing that's a must-have if I'm buying a cookbook is an index. Usually in the back of your cookbook there will be an index of ingredients and recipes. So here's the Italian one. Let's see, I don't know if you can read that or not. It just has the page number to each recipe and also ingredients that the recipes use. And the thing about that's a gold mine is, let's say I'm doing a zero spend this week and I have chicken. I have a lot of chicken. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look up chicken in this index. Oh my gosh, they even have dandelions in here. Chicken. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 chicken recipes in this cookbook. So let's say it's Wednesday and I want to cook something Italian, but all I have is chicken. So I have 10 options in here. And you can do the same thing for any one of these. It's really actually quite fun. So you want your recipe book to have an index. The second thing I look for is, I personally prefer older cookbooks. And the reason for that is, for example, here I've got a 1980, I think this is 86, but this is an example of a newer cookbook. I like cookbooks that were written before the 1950s when all the junk food came out, because a lot of these recipes have stuff like cream of asparagus, or marshmallows, or just packaged junk, cake mix, boxed cake mix. And sometimes I keep those things around, but not on a regular basis, so I don't want to use those kind of recipes. And that's why I really like these older ones. And even like the Julia Child one, that's not going to have a whole lot of junk in it. So I like a cookbook that has good, clean recipes. And you can find newer cookbooks that have clean recipes. The problem with the newer cookbooks is that they're slanted toward the dietary fads of the day. For example, a lot of the cookbooks now are doing like paleo, or they're doing vegan, or some kind, faddish diets and stuff like that. And I'm not really interested in that at this point. I just want good, wholesome, normal food. So that's why I don't buy a lot of new cookbooks, is because they're just slanted toward you know, modern dietary preferences. And also it's that way with cookbooks that are older, like post 1950s. So like in the 80s, everything was low fat, no fat. And so you get these recipes with using vegetable oil and stuff like that I'm just not really interested in. So that's why generally I try to avoid cookbooks that are your post 1950 for those reasons. And it's not like I never buy cookbooks that are newer. However, I just know that there's going to be less of a chance of me finding a good recipe in there, because, I mean, for example, all of the crock-pot books of the 90s, cream of everything soup, like, you can't find a recipe in some of those crock-pot books that doesn't have cream of mushroom soup, and I'm just not, that's not what I'm looking for. So I like a cookbook with an index and a cookbook that is pre-1950. Now there's a sweet spot when it comes to buying the right date of cookbook, because if you buy them too new, this one I would consider too new, then it's got all the, you know, processed ingredients in it. But if you get them too old, for example, this one is really old, your recipes are going to be written out in paragraphs, and that's a pain in the butt to read. So that's the one thing I don't like about really old cookbooks. The other thing is, even some of the ingredients we don't have anymore, or you don't really know what it means. Like, I think they called baking soda something different, and they had different words for common ingredients. So that's the one thing I don't like about these really old cookbooks. So if you get your cookbook probably between like the 1920s and the 1950s, right in that 30-year decade, you get it so it's new enough. This one I think is 1948. In this one you've got a nice good recipe like this, so all your ingredients are listed out. And I didn't find anything that I didn't know what it was in here that I had to look up. So that was really nice. You've got your ingredients listed out and then your instructions. And the other thing is, the newer books have, for example, oven temperatures. This one might say, bake in a moderate oven. Well, what's that supposed to mean? This one will say 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I think this says Fahrenheit. Some of them might say Celsius. But anyways, so that's where you want to get one that's not too old, but also not too new, so you can avoid the fads and things like that. In addition, with these really old books, like the really old ones, they have the coolest stuff. Like this one has charts in the back. In the charts, like this is a chart for quick breads. And they've got a column for the name of the recipe, how much flour, how much liquid, and then other ingredients, and then the directions, and it's all on here. So I can make a copy of this and put it in my cupboard, and you know, I can have like all of my recipes on one piece of paper. So that's really cool. That's one thing this one has. Another thing this one has, I don't know if I'm going to find it or not, but it has things like how to make yeast. And really what it is, it's how to make a sourdough starter. But back in the day, that was common knowledge, how to make yeast. So I think that's pretty cool with some of these really older ones. The other thing is with the older cookbooks and the regional cookbooks, they often have menus, like a sample menu. So yeah, this one has menus for special occasions. We've got New Year's dinner, Lincoln's birthday afternoon tea refreshments. Like, that would be such a fun party. Washington's birthday luncheons, colonial teas, Valentine bridge or tea menus, simple Easter dinners, and the modern ones have, they usually have a section for Christmas, but not some of these other obscure holidays, and that's kind of what I like. This one even has how to set the table for a dinner, and the funny thing about this, maybe I just like reading these for fun because they're hilarious. This says, table service, serving dinner without a waitress. So if you don't have any servants, like I don't have any servants, they tell you how you can serve dinner without one, which I think is really quite cool. Guys, that's about all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. So if you've got a favorite cookbook, put it in the comment box below. So that's all. I will see you guys next week.